Now, data usage blowouts can leave you with a big shock when your mobile phone bill arrives, and it only gets more complicated and more expensive when your kids are involved.
So what's the best way to set them up with a device while still controlling how much data they use? Sunrise consumer correspondent Sean White has more. Hi.
Watch out for those in-app purchases. Morning, everyone. These days, data is a fairly big expense for many families. So we sat down with the experts to get their tips for keeping costs down. Kids are constantly on their devices, surfing, searching and speeding through their monthly data allowance. These days in Australia, 17% of kids under 12 have their own smartphone.
The kinds of things that are using a lot of data right now on phones are playing games such as Fortnite, which are connected to the internet while you're playing.
Other major culprits are streaming and social media apps. Whistle Out managing editor Alex Horosh is warning that hefty charges can apply when kids exceed their data caps.
It's really easy to use a gigabyte quite quickly, especially if you're using data-intensive applications like YouTube, Netflix. Even Instagram can use a lot more data than you'd expect.
If you're on a shared plan, that means it's vital to set up warning alerts.
First and foremost, make sure your telco's notification settings are working so you can be notified if your children are using too much data.
It's also worth asking your provider if they can preset specific data limits for each device in your family. And look at how to avoid data dramas from the moment you set up a child's device.
First off, they can do that by using a prepaid SIM so they can only use up as much money as the month allows. The second way is just to have a Wi-Fi only type of connection so they don't get a SIM but they can still browse the internet when they're in a Wi-Fi network.
Like Val, Alex is a big fan of prepaid and a bit of tough love.
Once you use all your data, there's no excess charges unless you manually recharge and top up. So if your kid uses their 5 gigabytes of data in a month, and when that's gone, it's gone.
Parental controls and screen time management tools give some power back to mums and dads too. For Apple users, it's screen time. Google or Android users have digital well-being. Both allow you to restrict the amount of time spent online, as well as the type of apps and content being accessed.
One of my favorite tools that parents can use is a screen time type of app where they can understand how their children are using their phones and limit the types of things they're doing on it. And that's a great way of saving data usage.
The next step up is a paid service like Family Zone. It allows you to customise restrictions for your home internet as well as several mobile devices through a single app. Val says families can also tap into their home router to hardwire some digital downtime.
So you can set your router to basically black out the internet, say from between 6 and 8 p.m. when the kids are doing homework to focus them on the right stuff.
There are plenty of ways to tackle it, but one thing's for sure, disregarding data will cost you.
It's an invisible expense. It's one of those things that can rack up really quickly and just leave you with a massive bill that you weren't expecting.
Yeah, and those in-app purchases, you know, a lot of my little cousins have stung the parents because the games are designed in a way that when you collect things to win, you're actually buying things as you go along.
Yeah.
So those bills...
Nat, tell us about that.
We know that. That happened to us years ago, very early on.
I remember.
And we actually rang the company. Complained. They actually gave us a refund.
How much was it?
I don't know. I can't remember now.
From memory, it was a couple of $100.
I'm trying to work it out.
Wasn't it?
Oh, it's so easy. It's a minefield.
And you do have people with $1,000 bills and more from that sort of thing. Yeah, just things buried.
Good advice, Sean.